Hello Dr. Charida, my name is Shamira Izzati Binti Shuhaimee. Today I will present about the factor affecting profitability in banking sector in Malaysia. For the introduction, this study aims to investigate the factor affecting profitability of banking sector in Malaysia listed company. And for the problem statement, this study will examine the steps for countries to follow the rules by the government, which is stop the virus from spreading. Government had to implement many containment measures such as social isolation, lockdown and commercial closure. Okay, for this research, the dependent variable, which is ROE, return on equity, and for the independent variable, firstly from size, secondly capital structures, thirdly company efficiency, and firm liquidity. For the research objective, firstly to examine the relationship between firm size and profitability in banking sector. Secondly, to examine the relationship between capital structure and profitability in banking sector in Malaysia. And thirdly, to examine the relationship between company efficiency and profitability in Malaysia. And lastly, to examine the relationship between liquidity and profitability in banking sector in Malaysia. For the scope and the limitation of the study. For the scope of study, this study focus on the analyzer variable affecting the profitability of banking sector in Malaysia. And next, for the first limitation of study, which is the duration. The duration take to collect the data within 40 weeks. And next, for the second limitation, which is the data accessible in the data stream. That is older than this stream is insufficient. Next, we move on to the literature review. Firstly, profitability. Banks can be broken down into both internal and external factors. And secondly, firm size. The size of the banks has significant impact on its ability remain profitable. And next, for capital structure, became one the most essential decision that senior executive. And fourthly, company efficiency. Business maximize earning by effectively managing its asset, which is an obligation is measured by efficiency ratio. And lastly, for the firm liquidity. Liquidity is the ability of a company to quickly turn one of its assets into cash. Next, theoretical framework and hypothesis development. The trade-off theory states that a larger company will be more diversified, less risky, and less likely to go bankruptcy. Next slide for methodology. The aim section of financial statement explain the priority and objective. Okay, this chapter discuss the finding of the data analyzed using sample size, which is this table show the sample size used in this research, which is dependent variable for measure the ROE, firm size, log of total asset, capital structure, debt to equity, company efficiency, total asset turnover, and last but not least, firm liquidity, which is total loan to total capital. Next slide, which is tabulate all diagnostic checks. Firstly, the normality test. The squeeness is used to measure the degree of asymmetry of the series. And next, for the multicollinearity test, which is this is the table show the result in what we get. And last but not least, experimental research, which we get POLS. Slide for the regression result. For the regression result, for the value below than 0.10, it indicates that this model is accepted. But in our research, we get the negative value. So in this research, we rejected. For the second last slide, the implication of the study. The purpose of this study is to extend the existing literature on the determinant of profitability with a focus on banking sector in Malaysia. And secondly, banks not only assist the credit creation, but they also provide a variety of other services for the management and transfer to fund between two people or institution. Okay, last but not least, this help boost internet and external users such as manager, owners and employee, as well as investor or creditor. Last but not least, for the conclusion in this topic, in our research, the conclusion according to the data that may have been completed only from size, business efficiency, from liquidity and determinant of profitability in Malaysia banking sector from 2019-2021, whereas the other variable capital structure has been shown to be insignificant the profitability of publicly listed company on the Bursa Malaysia. And for the recommendation, to get a more reliable and precise result, the study period needs to be extended. The reason for this is that the future of bank profit is uncertain as a result of ongoing regulatory and liberation efforts. That's all from me. Thank you.